Pastor Bill, did you happen to balance work and family in all these years of ministry?
Well, family always comes first. So even when you have even when you have a period of time where you have to work crazy hours, you have the responsibility to make up for it. It's like I liken a family, especially in ministry, to like a wheat farmer who every harvest season has to work 18-hour days for 2 weeks. Well, you can't maintain that as a lifestyle and have a healthy family, but you can do it for 2 weeks. You just have to compensate later. You have to make up for it later. And so my view was my kids have to pay a price for who I am. I can't control that. So I'm going to use who I am to bless them and to help them and to give them advantages or whatever. And because that's my responsibility. My responsibility is to make sure that they do well. And probably one of the main things in life is when you're the same in the pulpit, you're the same in ministry, and you're the same at home. If there's no discrepancies between the two, then it helps to establish a real good standard for the kids to follow. And just having that value system this helps the kids to understand when you need to be gone, that there's a reason, and you make up for it when you're home. And everybody gets to benefit from that. So another part is I just paid attention to Benny. She would know some, there were times she'd call me at work. She said, mention one of the kids, they really need you. So I just cut out early. Not everybody can do that, but when you're on the clock 24/7, you tend to be able to have those options sometimes where others don't. And if I didn't have the ability to just leave the office at that moment, then I'd make sure when I got home that I spent extra time with that one child or with the three, whatever. But she could monitor the kind of the pulse of how the kids were doing on a much more day-to-day than I could,
Sure.
And she would alert me. She would tell me. She'd say, they need some dad time, so I would make the adjustments.
What did you have set as your primary goal in your relationship with your three kids as they were growing up? What was your main goal with them?
Oh, goodness. Pretty much to be their encourager, to be, obviously there's a friendship level that's important. You're still dad. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to be buddy-buddy in a way that compromises your responsibility. But I want to be a friend. To this day, that's my goal. It's just to be a friend and to be the one who champions their cause, the one who hears their voice and stands in their corner, so to speak. And it didn't matter if it was Little League games or, a Christmas musical or, it's just to be there and to be involved, cheering them on in whatever they're interested in, and they would be interested in a sport that I was interested in, I was there. If they chose a sport I didn't care for, I was still there, And so my dad was the greatest encouragement in my life, and I just wanted to make sure I was that for them, that I would just be an encouragement. I could see things in them that God was doing, and I would constantly speak to their future, I'd constantly talk about the grace, the giftings that were in them. I remember our boys had this amazing ability to encourage one another, even through their small childhood. It was unusual. And Eric did something for Brian, I forget what it was, and I said, Eric, do you know what that was? And he looked at me like he might be in trouble, but you could tell he didn't know why. And I said, that was a fruit of the Spirit. That was wonderful. And I would take him to the scripture, and say, that's gentleness, kindness. I said, that was a fruit of the Spirit. It's beautiful. And just champion, those things.